Good morning. Everyone can hear me? Good. Thank you very much, Mayor Watson, for the introduction. As Mayor Watson indicated, my name is Karen Mowat, and I work at Gowling WLG as an HR generalist, also a law firm just down the road. Sandra Borello, who's our HR manager, is also here today. Give us a wave. Thanks very much for the opportunity to come here and speak today about our experience with the Youth Futures program. So those of you who work in human resources probably know the fun involved in receiving those last-minute requests from your client group, and they usually go something like, can you send someone over ASAP to help me out with Project X? My team's all tapped out. They need urgent assistance with overflow work. Or how about something like, our department needs extra support next week because I've got Bob and Sue and Jim and they're all off on vacation at the same time. If any of those things sound familiar to you, they certainly did to me. Having the opportunity to tap into a pool of pre-screened students is a big advantage for us when things like that do come up. After attending last year's event here at BLG and learning about the Youth Futures program, it really seemed like a no-brainer to try to make this work for our firm. We hire students at many points in many departments broadly across the organization throughout the year, and as part of our hiring practices, we do put them through a fairly rigorous employment screening process. A large benefit of this program is that that part of the process is already done for us. The youth have already been pre-screened, interviewed, and they've gone through pre-employment training as well. Even their background security checks have been completed. Last year, we had the pleasure of welcoming 2 students into the firm, Tabo and Janet, for their 6-week employment experience in July and in August. The program is designed to support both the employer and the student throughout the work placement, and as such, each student is assigned a dedicated mentor. We met with our new students, as well as with their mentors, Hanan and Salma, to discuss what their goals were for their placements. Internally, we worked with Wayne Warren, who's our firm's managing partner, and with Sandra Malloy, who's our general manager, to socialize the program by explaining the benefits to our client groups and confirming that they had the required availability and capacity to take on a student. But the responsibility didn't end there. We needed them to be able to commit to not only providing the student with meaningful work experience, but also to coach them and provide them with feedback, mentorship, and development. Tabo, who was our first student, indicated that while she thought she was very interested in the practice of law, the goal for her placement was to gain some clarity in terms of her career path. In order to support her in this endeavor, we moved her widely throughout the firm, placing her within our intellectual property services group, in human resources, in accounting, in our student law group, in guest services, facilities, IT. There's really nowhere that this poor girl didn't work. She also worked alongside a few professionals who generously volunteered their time and allowed her to shadow them. Tabo even accompanied one of our professionals to a hearing, which she greatly enjoyed. She told us it was the exposure to our professionals and the time that they'd afforded her in allowing her to ask them questions that really cemented her desire to practice law in the future. Janet, who was our second student, spent the majority of her time working with our trademarks team. She supported the team by performing basic research and data entry tasks, updating spreadsheets, and gathering information on companies that was out of date. During her placement, Janet expressed a desire to connect with our accounting team as she was hoping to pursue a career in that field. Our accounting team spent time with her, answering her questions and providing her with support and guidance on how to get into the field. Really happy to say that in September, she returned to school and discovered that this semester she was able to participate in her school's co-op program. She reconnected with us because we had left the door open with her, and we were pleased to be able to be in a position to offer her a co-op placement with our firm, so she's still working with us today. As a firm with a very active diversity and inclusion committee that's concerned with social mobility, amongst other things, this program really allowed us to contribute to our firm's corporate social responsibility practices. As well, it allowed us as an HR team to provide support proactively, which isn't always the case, right, Sandra? to our client groups during their busy time over the summer months as they manage busy vacation schedules and are trying to juggle absenteeism with team members. Those are just the benefits for us as an organization and from a business perspective. As human beings, and possibly this is the mother in me speaking, I really do think that we have to do our part as human beings to support our youth and to make sure that they're properly prepared for the challenges that life has to offer them. One of the challenges we faced with our students was the requirement for them to have the means available to purchase appropriate clothing that was necessary for the work environment. So I think that's something that we mostly all take for granted. For many of the students in this program, as Mayor Watson indicated, this really is their very first work experience, and it'll provide them with that very first paycheck, and that's incredibly meaningful. quite proud to say that I work for an organization that supported 2 students so far through the Youth Futures program in their employment journey, and I'm really hopeful that the experience they gained working for our firm helped to prepare them and ensure that they were better equipped for subsequent job interviews and work opportunities that may be presented to them in the future.